So yesterday there was a situation that really continued to build after Pokemon Presents happened, and a lot of that was because the information in Pokemon Presents was basically laid out in full days before on 4chan, and the information was so specific that it would have been basically impossible to guess it. As part of that list, there was something that mentioned next generation or a new Switch model of some kind by the end of this year that would require even some sort of updated graphical patch for Pokemon. I went over a lot of this yesterday on the main channel, so make sure you check that out. But there was something I wanted to touch on a bit here, and I really meant to put it in that video, but I think it is important as well as we go through 2023 that is certainly setting up to be a lot of anticipation and excitement around what's next for Nintendo. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the Spawn Wave Plus channel if you're new. So very quickly, this was the posting that was done here. This covered by Nintendo Everything, and we can see down here is the 4chan listing mentioning the new Switch models and all of this. Now, everything in this post, people have been looking over and over and over, poring over this. Yeah, it all lines up and is correct. So clearly people are looking at the last line as, okay, something is happening with Nintendo by the end of this year. I still think it's possible that just the wording of the machine translation could have jumbled up that sentence a bit, but I mean, it's always possible Nintendo tackles this holiday with the new piece of hardware for the Switch. So what am I talking about? What's the big problem here with this posting? Well, I think the big problem now is because we've kind of gotten set up a bit by this post over on 4chan that ended up being correct, and we've seen things leak out on 4chan before because it is all anonymous and because there is information that obviously they were privy to in some way ahead of time. There's going to be more of a focus now on 4chan posts, right? So you're going to see this, I'm sure, pop up a lot, whether it's on different outlets, for example, that will cover rumors. It could be on YouTube channels and stuff. And hey, I will say this, a lot of the 4chan posts that have the ridiculous lists and predictions around a Nintendo Direct or a Sony State of Play, they can be pretty entertaining, right? But sometimes those have the way of snowballing into what people expect or hope to be there, say, by the end of this year with a new Switch model. It's also very possible, by the way, because it's anonymous and because information, I'll say this, does get out there a bit early, sometimes behind the scenes. If you had a certain piece of information, it actually wouldn't be hard to attach something that is not correct or really real at all when it comes to a new Switch system. So if, say, a game got leaked out a bit early, but it's not widely known ahead of time, someone could go to 4chan and have a bit of fun. And that was some of the anticipation or some of the thought process here, by the way, as of course people are playing devil's advocate with this post. Oh, they had the information for this Pokemon Presents because they got press access early, or they had seen the YouTube video early because they even worked at YouTube. Those kind of things have been floated, and they're like, okay, they attach the idea of more Switch models by the end of this year, just to have some fun. Like, legitimately, that's it, right? It's all possible, sure. I still lean to the side of, by the first half of 2024, we will have new hardware from Nintendo in our hands, but you can't really guarantee that, obviously, and who's to say that even by the end of this year, we get to the holiday and we know about something from Nintendo. Nintendo could legitimately attempt their 10-year plan with the Switch and just keep cruising along. Although their current lineup for Switch games beyond Pikmin 4, that being for the second half of this year, does kind of seem like they're setting up maybe a transition to a new piece of hardware with, I assume, a big 3D Mario game, Mario Kart, etc. there, right? So basically, my point is, you're going to see these 4chan posts pop up. You're going to most likely see people kind of share them around, have some fun, and play around with possibilities and ideas. But up until the point that we go back and can look at some of these posts, say, after information is revealed, and by the way, very specific information, and that's the reason one of this post is sticking out, because they were naming different Pokemon and all these different things. Like, seriously, down to the typing and all of this. Unless you have something that specific, it is kind of hard to go back and necessarily take some of these posts seriously in the way of, okay, maybe we really are working towards this eventual thing of a Nintendo Switch Pro and Nintendo Switch 2 by the end of this year. So that was really the point I wanted to make there, is be careful with some of these postings going around, since I know there's a lot of people excited for the idea of new hardware, myself included. We do have to step back and just kind of take a look at this as, I guess, as objectively and as literally as possible, and also kind of think like Nintendo with the business sense of, is it worth announcing this thing ahead of the holiday if we're not going to launch it during that holiday season? So we'll see, but certainly I think an exciting rest of the year is lined up here with all these possibilities, and I'm sure the rumor mill will be in full swing. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below with the 4chan posting, all the excitement around the possibility of new hardware from Nintendo, and maybe even them launching it this year. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.